The Samsung Galaxy A51 is more than a year old now. It was released in December 2019 and within a month it had become one of the most popular mid-range devices. With more than a year past, I'd like to share some experiences I've had and share some insights whether the A51 is still the phone to go with. The first thing about the phone is its price. It was released with a competitive price of $399, which is a great value for what you get here. So in return of that price, you're getting a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display with full HD resolution and a screen-to-body ratio of 87.4%. It does an excellent job in the viewing experience and has plenty of brightness even in outdoor conditions. And as we all know, Samsung has one of the best displays in the market, so it isn't something to be worried about. Having an Infinity O display with a center positioned punch hole camera, it has a design similar to the newer flagships like the S20 or the Note 20 series. Its punch hole camera is even smaller than the one on the Note 10, which is just great and doesn't really interfere with anything. To cut the costs of the phone, we have a very lightweight plastic backed device with colors bouncing all over it. You have the volume and power buttons on the right while the SIM card slot on the left. It can hold two SIM cards as well as a micro SD card to expand your storage. On the bottom is the Type-C port, a speaker and a 3.5mm headphone jack. This phone has a single speaker firing at the bottom. It is pretty loud and perfectly good for any use. Coming to the internals, heavy usage is no challenge for this phone as it comes packed with the Exynos 9611 processor, an option of 4 or 6 gigs of RAM and an internal storage of 128 gigabytes, which is more than enough for most of the users. This phone can handle heavy tasks and intensive gaming without any issues. This phone is specifically not the best in market if you're looking purely for gaming, but it's not like you should just avoid it. It has a very decent performance and you won't be facing any kind of issues. I've tried PUBG and many other games on this phone which run absolutely fine with no issues whatsoever. To run all these high performance tasks, it comes packed with a 4000 mAh battery capable of fast charging at up to 15 watts. It does a decent job but isn't so great either. Now coming to the camera, which is a major upgrade from its predecessor, the Samsung Galaxy A50. On the rear, it is a quad cam setup coming with a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel depth sensor and a 5 megapixel macro lens. In broad daylight, the main camera does an excellent job. It catches a lot of detail, sharpness and colors are quite accurate. The portraits are excellent in selecting the subject and edge direction is also great thanks to the depth sensor. Switching to the ultra wide lens, here you would see a lot of difference. It is usable but isn't really great. Switching from the main to ultra wide sensor, you see a great difference in colors. Night mode is also where this phone suffers. The photos are noisy and not sharp at all. Besides that, the camera is excellent as long as the lighting is okay. In fact, it has one of the best cameras I've seen on any mid-ranger. The punch hole front facing camera is a 32 megapixel, which does a good job too. Nothing much to say about it, it's just a decent camera. In general, I'd say it has a good camera system and is fairly good. The front camera is also used in facial recognition to unlock the device, which is really fast. Combined with the raise to wake feature, the phone is on the screen as soon as you look at it. It also has an in-display fingerprint sensor. It is usable but not so great. It was a total headache adding my fingerprint on the phone. In terms of speed, it is quite slower compared to its competitors and sometimes even struggles to recognize it. So, what are my final wordings on this phone? I'd say it looks modern and even better than many of the current mid-ranged phones. It has a good camera performance and a display, and performance is also decent, so I consider it worth buying. Of course, you would miss the higher refresh rate display, but except that, I consider it a great value for money.